1,300% increase in testosterone in men.
Oh, wow.
That right there is one of the best tactics that you can use in order to also get attention, which is using data.
Well, the first is, do you know her cycle?
Moving on. Tell me about your childhood.
As you can see, they're using humor in here and something that is highly relatable to most men out there, that when you ask them about the menstrual cycle of women, they probably know the bare minimum.
You're gonna have to report back to me how this works. Around day 17, this is where you gotta...
Masterpiece. That was a solid ending. You see what they did there? They related back to something that everyone wants, which is welcome, legends, to Podcast Marketing Secrets,
where we share all of the tactics and strategies from the #1 podcasting agency
on how to launch, grow, manage, and monetize a successful, high-converting podcast.
Let's take your business and content to the next level.
Today, we're doing a hook breakdown for one of the top podcasts in the world, Mr. DOAC, or Diary of a CEO. Let's just jump straight into it.
Feminist women out there are not gonna like this.
Oh,
women are...
Instantly. Feminist women out there are not gonna like this. What does that do? Firstly, feminist women are already buckling up. They're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let me have it. But not only that, it attracts both feminist women and people who are not feminists as well. Both sides of the camp. And I don't think there's not too many fence sitters. Are there fence sitters when it comes to this type of topic?
This is extremely controversial as well on the times that we're in. Like, a lot of people will be debating, is it being a feminist good or bad? So instantly that hook is going to get attention. Great way to start.
More.
perishing in this modern world more than men.
Well, that's terrifying.
If we want to exist on this planet, we're gonna have to.
Dr. Mindy Peltz.
You see what they do? They are masters at this, which is they just start leaving you wanting more. They start to create that need for, wait. What is that? What are you about to say? I wanted to know. Just finish the sentence. And humans, we hate when a loop is open and it's not finished. So we want to be playing with this when it comes to editing your podcast or your hook, which, by the way, if you're a business owner, please do not fucking edit your content, okay? Get an editor or get a team to do it. That's a good use of your time. We've talked about this many times. Yeah. But what you want to make sure is that your team or the person that is going to be crafting the episode is creating these little moments of, I want more. Tell me the answer.
Absolutely. And now as well, they're not going to give us the answer. They're going to go into who the hell is this person who's speaking to us? What is their credibility? Why do they deserve to be speaking to us? So let's see what they do here.
Functional health expert, best-selling author,
and keynote speaker, one of the leading voices in educating us about our bodies.
I might add here as well, and this is something that I've seen. If you're going to do high-level hooks like this, what's really handy to have to craft something like this is a crapload of B-roll of the people that you've actually got on the podcast. So just for anybody who doesn't have context here, Doak is the best, I would say, in the podcasting industry at creating these types of teasers or hooks for the episodes. And he has the luxury that pretty much all of his guests that he has on there have some type of media presence or publicity. So they have heaps of B-roll and footage to be able to work with. However, if you're not quite at that level, but you're still aspiring to make hooks like this, it would be really beneficial for you to actually grab any type of B-roll or whatever you can from your guests so that you could create something like this.
In 2 decades, helping millions worldwide.
You got pretty famous from talking about this certain subject matter, which is fasting. What do I need to know?
Research shows it's going to make me stronger. More lean, 1,300% increase in testosterone in men.
Oh, wow.
We see
That right there is one of the best tactics that you can use in order to also get attention, which is using data. As you can tell as well, she used a specific data point that will be appealing to a big chunk of the world population, which is all men. There's not a single man on the planet that will not be interested of getting more testosterone or a testosterone increase, because we know by default we've been educated as to testosterone will make you a strong, big man, or will make you more successful, will make you more energetic as well. So instantly, that data point, I want to know exactly what will give me that result, which again, she was also using fasting for that, which most people, even though it has become quite popular in the last few years, so it is kind of a trend, the fasting aspect, is still a very shocking type of data point that instantly makes you want to know more and get even further context.
I do actually have something on this that I disagree with. And if we look at the title here, The Miracle Doctor, Get Your Sex Life Back, Melt Belly Fat, and Heal Your Injury. It's definitely all related to her being a doctor. And this is one area where industry leaders like Doak can get away with this and crafting an episode like this. And what I'm referring to is they're covering so many different points. For most people, when you're coming into podcasting, when you're growing as a podcaster, you actually want to narrow down on a specific angle to the conversation that you're having, because he's at the top of the game. Some of these rules don't apply to him, but it's important to point out the differences between most of where you guys will be at right now in your podcasting journey versus where he's at, which is he's having multi-hour conversations with these people. So naturally, there's going to be a lot of these interesting topics that they touch on to incorporate into this hook. So we started off with feminism. Now we're on to fasting. We're going to jump into something else as well. So it's great in that it's giving us an insight to the conversation, which is what the hook needs to do to keep us wanting to watch and consume more of the actual length of that type of a video. But just something worth noting there is that usually you would actually just pick one of these to go with.
And by the way, arguably as well, the fasting and testosterone data point could have been a much better hook, especially because of the nature of the title, which is The Miracle Doctor. When you start the episode with feminism instead of something like fasting and testosterone, instantly that creates some confusion for me. So
and also with the people who are going to be watching this. So she's a female doctor. We're starting with feminism. Then we're going to something that's attracting a male audience. Like, who are we speaking to through that? So anyways.
We see inflammation go down, growth hormone go up. It's the hormone that keeps you young and helps you burn fat. You know where it dropped the most amount of weight?
Belly.
Yep. Literally takes cells that are turning into cancer and it gets rid of those. You are tapping into a healing state that you never knew was there.
I'm sold. Where do I start?
So the first place to start is menstruation.
This is always, again, so what they're doing is a give and take, and take, pull back, give a little bit, pull back. So that's how you keep someone engaged and not knowing what to expect. But there is a rhythm to this. And we start the episode with a strong hook. We suddenly cut the momentum. We leave them wanting more. We give them some context. We give credibility and the track record of the person that we're having on the podcast to basically give them the evidence to the audience that, hey, you should totally listen to what she has to say. Okay, she's an expert at this field. And then we give a little bit more and then we totally cut it back again. So again, now you left me with two questions that haven't got answers just yet.
Or the big M is considered a taboo topic.
I'm going to say something which is really embarrassing here. I know nothing about menstrual cycles. I'm in a relationship. What advice have you got for me?
Women.
Well, the first is, do you know her cycle?
Moving on. Tell me about your childhood.
Let me give you gold.
Again, this is, as you can see, they're using humor in here and something that is highly relatable to most men out there, that when you ask them about the menstrual cycle of women, they probably know the bare minimum. In fact, like as soon as he said that, I was like, I probably don't know anything about that. So it kind of instantly created this relatability in between men.
Yeah.
As we're listening to this, even one of our producers here listening, he's also a man and he's probably lost too with the menstrual cycle of women.
All right, let's keep going.
first 2 days, give her some space. If you have any conflict you want to resolve with her.
And so then as well, we're revealing a little bit as well. So important to consider when you're doing your podcast hook is that you don't want to just leave everything on a cliffhanger. It's also about providing a certain amount of information or value right then and there, because that's also going to be another motivator for them to actually stick around to get more of that. You can't just cliffhang people, because realistically it might work, but also they might just be like, okay, nah, I'm done.
Resolve with her. Do it between day 2 and day 12. Her libido is going to be the highest between day 10 and day 15. And then here's the goal. You're going to have to report back to me how this works. Around day 17, this is where you got to...
Masterpiece. That was a solid ending. You see what they did there? They related back to something that everyone wants, which is libido, right? Everyone wants, yeah, sex, relationships, all this stuff. So what they did is they created the question for men as to, hey, this is how you can get her to want more of that. And let me give you what it is. Boom. Yeah. Best place to cut the hook. Masterpiece as usual for Mr. Dog. My one thing in here is how this hook started to who the expert is, what the title is, and everything else that was said on the hook. It just feels like it would have been better just going straight into the fasting, increasing testosterone by 1,300%. That to me sounds like a much stronger type of title and more in congruency with what the conversation is about. It doesn't seem like going for the feminist angle would have been maybe the best introduction for the hook.
Definitely. And something worth noting here as well is just around the length of the hooks. So for that conversation, which is around 2 hours 15, if my eyesight serves me well, the hook was 1:30 as well. What in your experience would you recommend for podcast episodes that are maybe between the 30 to 60 minute mark in terms of the length of that hook?
Yeah, usually for an episode that is 30 to 60 minutes, we recommend that the hook is somewhere between the 30 seconds to the 60-second mark. We have found that that's enough length to cover some of the key points of the episode and ultimately give enough context and relation to what the title and the thumbnails are for that particular episode in that point in time. If your episode is shorter than that, you can get away with anywhere between, 20 to 30 seconds. I probably wouldn't make it anything shorter than that for long form style episodes, which obviously is quite different to what a short form piece of content would be, which we're talking 3 seconds, right? And what you want to think is that the longer the episode is, the bigger that hook has to be. Similar to a movie. Like when you go to the cinema and you're going to watch a trailer for a movie, or not even the trailer, because the trailer is what they use to promote the movie in itself, but the beginning of the movie, they're trying to set you up to want to watch the full movie, and that usually will happen anywhere between the first couple minutes to the first 5 minutes, sometimes depending on how long the movie is. So the longer you go for episodes, usually the longer you want to stretch the hook in itself, but that point, that range will give you pretty much good enough to make a great hook.
Yeah, and you also don't want to stretch it out just for the sake of it either. We're giving some guidelines here, but just know that, and again, you guys shouldn't be the ones editing that are consuming this, but you don't necessarily want your editor just chucking more in there or giving away the entirety of the conversation as well. A few key points to get them hooked in, get them excited, educate them a little bit, and then drop them into the conversation will be perfect.
Yeah, the perfect hook, just remember, it creates the excitement and the questions and the interest on the audience for them to actually listen to it or watch it. So if your hook should not give everything away straight from the get-go.
All right.
Hope you find that breakdown helpful. It seems like the audience is really enjoying all these high-level breakdowns of podcasts. So let us know if there's any particular podcast that you would like us to dissect. Other than that, we'll see you on the next episode.
See you then. Thank you for joining us on Podcast Marketing Secrets. If you found value in this episode, the best way you can support us in continuing to deliver this content to you is by giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Now, if you're keen to connect with us, we are at Vibez Creative on all your other social media platforms. Please send us your questions, engage with us, let us know what you want to hear about next on the podcast, and we'll be sure to create content around that.
And if you're interested in partnering with us for the highest level of support for you to be able to launch, grow, manage, and monetize a successful podcast for your business or your personal brand, we offer different levels of support, starting from our services, one-on-one coaching, as well as our completely done-for-you system. So if you're interested in finding out more, book a call with our team down in the description below.